What's going on, y'all? It is a rainy storm, aka crew checking in for the sun sign series. We are going to be talking about sun in the 5th house for all the sun sign in the 5th house babies out there. For those of y'all that are checking in, welcome to my humble abode. For those of y'all that are coming back in, hello, how you doing? Okay. Let's go through these links. It's been a minute since I recorded as I'm sitting here thinking about it. So we have readings now that are, all my readings are tip based and donation and barter and trade based. So definitely hit that link below. I also am doing bookings for events. I also have courses available, so y'all make sure y'all check that out below. Memberships, and make sure that y'all subscribe to that newsletter. You will get a free housing and astrology course delivered straight to your email once you subscribe. So without further ado, let's get into the sun sign series. I also have a podcast available as well, and I will be updating that this week. So y'all make sure y'all go check that out as well. So the sun. What is the sun in astrology? The sun represents the energy of Leo. This is anywhere the sun is placed in your chart, there is an illuminating factor. Is an illuminating energy. It shines a light, right, on that energy. We could say this for the moon, but the moon, we'll talk about that in the moon series, because that's going to come after this series of like what it actually does and what that means emotionally. This is more so of like the lessons in this life that you've come to learn in present, versus the moon is where you've come to learn past lessons that you've learned, ancestral lessons, and all those things that you've learned there. And so with this energy being in the 5th house, just in all, this is where we look at I would say your life path and your life journey in full. I'm sorry, I'm like, the light is it catching me? Hold on, let me pull this up a little bit. Okay, cool. So this is the journey of the 5th house is ruled by Leo also as well. This is the journey of creativity. This is exploration of your creative talents and your creative pursuits. This can also be a journey of somebody who might have children involved in their destiny and journey as well, because the 5th house does rule children. This is where we also start to see like romantic relationships seed. So if you have sun in the 5th house, or you have like certain planetary energies in the 5th house, but since we're talking about the sun, there's an illumination around your relationship specifically. Now, romance can look a couple of different ways. Romance can be experienced in the pleasures of life, not just a person. Romantically, we can make love to life. We can also make love to our intimate partners in different ways that we show our care for them. So this is just some ways that romance can come up, especially within the 5th house. Also, this has to do with like expressing your inner child, right? So the 5th house is this open vessel for you to be able to express like the rawest form and expression of yourself. So I would even say that the things that you were interested in as a child, the things that you were really gravitated to as a child, the 5th house wants you to experience that within this lifetime. So if you find yourself, for example, maybe you moved away from some of the things that you used to do as a child, as you start to step into this energy, because the sun is really, like I said, it's what you're stepping into, like the lessons that you have come to learn about in this lifetime. Look to like, what are some of the things that you were doing as a child and the things that made you feel happy? I feel like there's a joyous inner childlike energy. I mean, unless you have Saturn there, and that's a whole nother conversation for another time. Saturn like coupled with your sun, and we'll talk about that in later videos. But there is a, kind of risk-taking expression that comes here. This is where not only does the 5th house rule gambling, but more so of like just taking a gamble on life. Maybe you had a past life, I would have to see the whole chart, of course, but maybe you had a past life where, some of the things in which you were due, like you had like a lot of duties and responsibilities and you couldn't really have fun, because 5th house is also the house of fun. And so now this, this life is like, unleash, enjoy yourself, take a gamble out on life, see what happens. Children, like I said, could also be a thing, but when we talk about just projects in general, this could also have to do with something that goes around, like maybe like if you have like an artistic pursuit or project or something like that that you've been working on for a good minute or a long time, and maybe you weren't able to cultivate it. So in this lifetime is asking you to maybe focus. Or maybe you're like a dancer or a singer or an artist, or you do some type of poetry or something like that. And then the world is like, okay, take this time to explore what this could be, what this could look like for you. It just kind of opens you up a little bit, with this energy. I think it's very free and fun loving. It allows you to explore different types of romantic connections and relationships. And I think it just puts things into perspective of what really, I would say, makes you feel joyful, what makes you at the center of it, with no filter, with no, nothing that really holds you back, nothing that really, being in a life and experiencing a life of where you're able to really live. Like I'm kind of chopping up right now because there's something that's coming up back to like gambling. Maybe you even had a past life karmically, right, where you spent a lot of, frivolous, your money or just your earnings or whatever, or exchange your goods for like frivolous things. And so you could be learning a lesson in that as well too. Like, but I will say, just overall with this energy, there is something that is supposed to be experienced with ease, being able to really just enjoy, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, enjoy the like, I would even say this, I don't know why the sacral chakra and solar plexus is coming up, and even the root chakra, but like really activating those base chakras in this lifetime, I think is going to definitely help having the sun in the 5th house here. There also could be, if you're not physically having a child, there could have something to do with I know this is not sun in the 4th house per se, but there could be something with the dynamic of maybe how you were raised, or your parent, mother-daughter relationship, even father-daughter relationship, father-son, whatever relationship that has to come back into maybe the ways in which you were raised. And then maybe, for example, you want to have your own kids, doing that kind of over again, but from a different perspective, experiencing that in a different perspective. Like, I was raised like this, but now I want to raise my kid like this, or I used to do these things as a kid, and so I want to, explore that. And if you don't have children, maybe you work with children, and so you're kind of like a teacher of some sort in that way, to children, to help children, or help children work through or discover their creativity in some kind of way. You know what I mean? So that's what I have for sun in the 5th house. We're going to move on to sun in the 6th house and finish it off with sun in the 7th and 8th house. Our sun in the 8th house this week, and then next week we'll finish up the series and we'll be moving on to the moon series. So y'all make sure y'all check that out. You already know what it is. It's a rainy storm checking in, checking out without a doubt. Deuces.